Birthdays are supposed to be about love, family, and being seen, but on my 29th, I realized I'd never truly been celebrated in my own home. My parents stood beside my younger sister, candles glowing on her cake, while I stood in the corner, watching. "You've always been the golden one," my mom said, smiling at her. Then my dad added the words that shattered something inside me, "You're the only one worth celebrating." That was the moment I snapped, the moment I stopped begging for a family that never saw me. Growing up, my sister, Lily, was the sun. Everything in our family orbited around her. She got straight A's, danced, sang, and somehow, every achievement she made became a family event. I wasn't jealous at first, I was proud. But slowly, I realized my efforts were invisible. When I got into college on scholarship, my mom barely looked up from her phone. When Lily got a participation trophy, they threw a barbecue. My father would brag about her potential, while telling me to stay realistic. Every conversation revolved around her, her dreams, her boyfriends, her mistakes. Mine didn't matter. I became the listener, the problem solver, the invisible one. I used to think if I worked hard enough, I'd earn their pride. But the harder I tried, the smaller I became in their eyes. By the time I turned 29, I'd learned to expect nothing. But that day, even nothing turned into something worse. That morning, I woke up to silence. No messages. No calls. My heart sank, but I told myself, maybe they're planning a surprise. I drove to my parents' house, wearing the same smile I'd been faking for years. When I opened the door, the smell of frosting hit me, and there it was, a huge cake with "Happy Birthday, Lily," written across it in gold icing. My sister turned, giggling, already in the middle of blowing out candles. I froze. "Wait," I said softly. Isn't it my birthday today?" My mom looked confused, then laughed. "Oh honey, Lily just got promoted at work. We thought it'd be fun to celebrate her. You don't mind sharing the spotlight, do you?" Before I could respond, my dad smirked, slicing into the cake. "She's the only one worth celebrating anyway." Everyone laughed, except me. I felt something inside me twist, like a rubber band that had been stretched for decades. My hands shook. My throat burned. For 29 years, I'd swallowed every insult, every dismissal. But not this time. That was the exact second I stopped being silent. I slammed my hands on the table. The laughter died instantly. "You've been celebrating the wrong child for decades," I said, my voice trembling. "You don't even know who I am, do you?" My mother blinked, confused. My father scoffed. "Oh, here we go again. The pity parade." "No," I said. "This isn't about pity. It's about truth. You've spent years making me feel like a ghost in my own home. Every time I achieved something, you looked right through me. Do you even know what I do for a living?" Silence. "I'm a senior project manager. I've paid off my student loans, bought my own house, and I've been sending you money every month, because Lily keeps borrowing from you." My sister's face went pale. "You've raised her to believe the world owes her something," I continued, tears spilling. "And you raised me to believe I was worth nothing. But that ends today." I walked to the door, my voice breaking. "If I'm not worth celebrating, then I'm not staying." As I closed the door behind me, I heard my mother whisper, "What have we done?" Leaving that day was the hardest thing I've ever done. I didn't text. I didn't call. For the first time in my life, I let the silence speak for me. I poured myself into work. Therapy. Running. Anything that reminded me I still existed outside of their shadow. The first few months were painful, like detoxing from an addiction. I wanted to call them so badly. I wanted to believe they'd change. But deep down, I knew they wouldn't until they lost me completely. So, I stayed gone. Eventually, I stopped counting the days since we last spoke. My apartment started to feel like peace, not punishment. I hung up photos of my travels. Friends replaced family dinners. Laughter returned to my life, the kind that didn't sting. For the first time, my reflection didn't look sad. It looked free. A year later, on my 30th birthday, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello? Sweetheart, my mother's voice cracked. Happy birthday. I froze. She continued, we realized how awful we were. Your father's been sick. Lily's moved back home after losing her job. We'd like to see you. Old habits kicked in, the urge to comfort, to fix, to rush home. But I stayed silent. Mom, I said finally, you only called because things fell apart. She cried quietly. You're right. But can we start over? I took a deep breath. I've already started over, Mom. Without you. She begged to visit, but I declined. I'm not angry anymore. But I'm not coming back to that version of love. When I hung up, my hands were shaking, not from pain, but power. I realized that forgiveness doesn't always mean reunion. Sometimes it just means peace. That night, I baked myself a small chocolate cake. I lit one candle, whispered happy birthday, and smiled through tears. For the first time in 30 years, it truly was my celebration. Looking back, I don't hate my parents anymore. They were broken in ways I couldn't fix. They needed control, and I needed love. Neither of us knew how to give the other what we wanted. But walking away taught me something powerful. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop chasing people who keep you small. I found a family and friends who show up, coworkers who cheer for me, and strangers who remind me kindness still exists. I don't celebrate survival anymore. I celebrate growth, the quiet kind that doesn't need anyone's approval. In the end, I learned that being the only one worth celebrating was never about them, it was about me realizing I'd been worth it all along. I stopped waiting for applause and started clapping for myself. If you've ever been overlooked, forgotten, or made to feel invisible, remember this, your worth isn't determined by who recognizes it. It's defined by who refuses to forget it, you. Because peace isn't found in their approval. It's found in finally learning to celebrate yourself.